All right, hello guys. So we are going to continue where we left last time, but before going ahead, maybe I okay, yeah, it's too high the volume now, should be okay. Yeah, I was saying that we are going to resume from where we left last time, and the idea is to get to the end. So creating our Dagger module and then publish and reuse somewhere else. This is the chain, and the Dagger module will load the Jupyter Lab after some preliminary steps. So we'll download some data, we'll do some basic pre-process, and eventually launch a Jupyter Lab as a session. So you can pre-process your data and work on top of them interactively and reiterate. So you introduce additional steps in the automation, and you continue to develop your pipeline step by step and reproducible everywhere, just using the function that we are going to write, hopefully. Last time we get some trouble here and there. We are going to see some solution that I found out in the meantime, so we will get take care of that as well. All right, so talking of resuming, I think we can go ahead and let me just understand if we have some music in background, not too much, probably like this is enough. Yeah, let me know in the comment if it's enough or not, but yeah. All right, talking or resuming from where we left. We put in place last time all the needed pieces, all the needed functions on our module to follow up with the schema. So we start from a container that is, in that case, was the Jupyter Lab standard container, so nothing fancy, just the SciPy library that everyone has at least once used doing data science. And then you have additional steps that you can add one on top of the other, but also combine in different ways. So for instance, you can see here we have an import data. So the first function is, okay, import my data that I want to train with. And then I have two ways. The simplest one is, okay, build another container with this module, start a container that has mount my data or downloaded it, and then, okay, go ahead, launch my Jupyter Lab instance, my notebook, and I can access them, can access it through the browser. Otherwise, there is another way, so other function that we just set up with dummy content that says, okay, before going to the Jupyter Lab, do some extra steps. So take this data and dump something in another directory, or in our very, very basic scenario, we took this one. This one was a simple function that dump some file in /temp, okay? Some content into /temp directory. And after that, my new container now has this file in /temp that I can access through the Jupyter Lab that I run on top of it. Again, this pre-process step can be anything at this point, but the cool thing is that all these separate steps, so let me take another color here, this container here, let's unzoom, okay, and this container here will all be cached. So for instance, you can arrive at this stage and do, okay, I don't want to do this pre-process, I want to do my own pre-process and produce another container here and go directly to Jupyter Lab. This is another way that you can do. Or with this kind of approach in mind, you can arrive here with the temp area with the preprocessed data and say, okay, I want here another pre-process step where I do my thing, I filter out something and do something else, and I produce another container that now is ready to go and be loaded into the Jupyter Lab. So you see that the important things for today to be able to publish at least 3 components. The first one is importing data. We have a dummy target for that already. We have a function called import data. We have to fill it up, allowing for downloading. In this case, we are going here to, we're going here to download from Kaggle competition. So we are going to install the Kaggle client and download some data from there. And then we need a function that bootstrap a Jupyter Lab instance as a service. And we saw this is the only one that completely implemented last time. And we are going to recap briefly. The other modules that we need is a generic pre-process step. Generic pre-process meaning come on, sorry. So the generic step is the following. We want this function here to be able to do the following stuff. It should take a requirement.txt as input. So these are the inputs for this module, a requirement.txt and a .py file, right? And what it is going to do is, in the first step, is going to install all the requirements, and on the step 2, is going to execute your py file. So you can put, for example, in a folder these two files and say, okay, these steps should execute this kind of process with this kind of requirements. And you can chain as much as steps, as different step you want, because it's generic. So I can iterate this container preprocess container as many times as I want, and all the stages will be cached. Of course, there are pros and cons with this approach. The pros are that you track everything. Everything is really composable in the very same sense of the term. So yeah, that's cool. The other part is that maybe if you are producing two tiny modules, that can get confusing, right? So you have to find the balance somehow, and we will see where we get with that. So to everything else, so once we write this code, to everything else should think Dagger. So Dagger will take all this function, and through the command line, just like we did last time, it will be able to chain different things. So cutting a long story short, I think we are ready to go back to our code. So last time we left here. We define a module called cargo Dagger. So we initialize, we follow the instruction in the documentation. It's pretty complete, so please just take a look. And then after that, you have a project in this way, and you can start playing with your module. We edited just the demo part in order to implement a few more functions. So the first one is Jupyter Lab. Well, first of all, we have a value here that is the container where we start. We have a default to this image, but we can pass by on the command line all the images that you can think of. And once we have this image, we have our first function. The first function is called Jupyter Lab, and it's pretty simple. It's taking a Jupyter secret that will be the token that you use to log in into the container, into the notebook. And then there is and then there is a container return. A container return means that Dagger knows that what we return here is something that can be executed. For example, if we explicitly ask for can be executed as a service. So we can expose what is running inside this container, and we are going to see in a few seconds. Or well, actually right now. So in fact, you can go and see the following. So right here I ran, just before the streaming started, the Jupyter Lab function. That is simple, like calling Dagger call Jupyter Lab. Then we pass the Jupyter secret. Remember that Jupyter minus secret is equivalent to the function that we pass here before. Oh, sorry. So Jupyter underscore secrets is being transformed in the command line into Jupyter dash secret. You can pass the secret in Dagger from an environment variable, and we set the environment variable to test me please the password that we used last time. And right at this point, when you have a container, you should go ahead and say, okay, I want this to be up as a service, please bring it up. That's all. It will start, and eventually you will be able to log in into Jupyter Lab, fully functional Jupyter Lab. Yeah, and that's all. So we are at this point. There's one cool thing that we did last time, and we resume immediately. that is the following. So we are going to stop this, and this the possibility to chain different different functions here. So to chain function, again, we took a look last time to the documentation, and we found out that eventually I can't understand what's happening here, sorry. Okay, never mind. So last time we took this function. All right. Yeah, sorry. So we took the documentation and we saw, all right, how does the chaining of a module function? So you go here, chaining, we got a pretty nice example where the only thing that you need to do is creating a function that return a self type. If you do that, you are able to call one function all after the other, and chaining in this way from a command line directly all the different components that you put into your module. So to do that, we created here a dummy import data that what it does is taking the directory that from your host and mounting it directly. So you find here the working directory, and we set the owner to the owner of the container. And then another step, that is the other function that we need to fill out today, that is the preprocessed data. And the preprocessed data is simple, like taking the container that I'm building in self, so in my module, and append some the execution of some command. In this case, the command that has been appended is with the entry point and with exec, and we dump the content that we pass as parameter A to the temp test.txt. So just to recap, we ended up doing the following: call import data, working dir, setting the working dir of the current host to this, and then we ask, all right, pre-processed data with parameter a hello, so print in that file that we dump in temp hello, this string, and then Jupyter Lab, yes, but is Jupyter secret env token, all right, and test no as service up. So if I did all correctly, now the whole chain of mounting the current directory, so the first function. The second function is preprocess my data, and in this case it's simple as dump a file with this content, will be chained before executing the Jupyter Lab instance. So the final container, the container that will be eventually run, is essentially the one with all the execution of the whole part in chain. And then we are ready to see what happened. So we can go to 0, 0, 0, A, like before. Test me, please. And now, if everything went well, we finalize the warm-up, if you want, so the recap of the last time. And here in temp test.txt, I have a file by magic, and that is called by Dagger magic, I think. It's correct, the correct way to say. And it is called with the content that we say before. The other important thing is that now in work we have our notebook, and our notebook now has the correct things to do. So we have here the input of our analysis, by accident. I mean, for to be sure to have something to working on in case we fail hard in loading data. And then we have all the steps for a basic analysis on a Titanic dataset. If you remember, what we used was a dataset from Kaggle that allows to calculate to challenge data scientists to understand the probability of survival of a Titanic sink based on some parameters. So it's pretty usual stuff in here. And the important thing is that we are going to load the file from a standard directory that we are going to mount. And then the first step that we are going to put and to try our generic module is, okay, let's start with the first really simple analysis. So taking something, for instance, we're going to take this Python, all this notebook until the end. So we can eventually take this submission.csv and say, okay, this will be mounted into our final Jupyter Lab after the whole pipeline is implemented in Dagger. So first thing first, we need to do one thing, that is downloading this notebook. Okay. Well, actually, I think, yeah, we need to there were a way to convert to Python. Yeah, I think we can find our way through this. But okay, let's take this just an example, and we are going to copy all the content of this Python into our directory. The plan then is the following. Our first step, let's zoom in. Our first step is taking the Jupyter Lab container and say, okay, now I want to install Kaggle client to download my data, and to do that I also need to pass Kaggle.json, if I remember correctly. That is a key for the API to be authorized. So I have this one. Once I set up this preliminary step, this will execute a command that is like Kaggle download. We are going to call it in this way. And after that, our first function here is done. So this one here is our function number 1. Okay. And then the other function is, all right, start from a generic image from a container here. And, well, also in this case, it's generic enough. You can pass whatever container you want. So you start from a container here, and the function will do install pip install -r or f. I cannot recall every single time. I think it's requirements. So yeah, requirements .txt, and then do Python 3. Okay, let's default to main.py. Okay, so as long as you pass these two files, so main.py and requirements, you are good to go. And this will be our second function. Okay, this will be our second function that you can combine as much as you want. You can put 1, 2, 2 prime, 2 second, and then eventually go to JLab and work on that. Or you can also do a separate experiment and do 3 here, that is another function, and do 2 again and go to Jupyter Lab. So you see what I mean. You are going to combine all these different functions as you wish, but the target is at least 2 generic function here. So all right, let's go to the practice. And for the practice, first of all, we need to understand what we need from the Kaggle perspective. And it will be simple, like taking our Kaggle JSON, that is the one that I should have already imported if I were smart enough. I think I should have already somewhere. Okay, if not, I'm going to import that. Let's do it now. Okay, so I'm going to import the key that we need to download files. SCP from downloads, Kaggle. This one should be the correct one. And then Kaggle.json. Okay. So now we are good to go. And we can cp Kaggle.json in here. So we have our key to download files set up for good. And we are ready to work on our import data. Import data, we may change what we do here, so we can tell API keys, and we say, okay, this is a file. And then we need another step that is on our plan was, okay, Kaggle.json, and the client that actually we are going to have with no issue, we need the name of the competition. So the name of the data that we want to download. So competition, and here will be a simple string. All right. Now, with this, we are going to make some cool stuff in here. So we start from our container, we mount our work. Okay, good enough. We can keep, oops, we can keep this, but we also now add some other stuff. So with mounted file, and mounted file means that we are going to take these API keys and put it in a default place. The default place that is suggested by the documentation in Kaggle is home.kaggle.json. Okay, let's see. Didn't try this. In particular, I don't know if Dagger is going to create the folder for me, but we are going to discover it pretty soon. So yeah, bien. .kaggle. Did it copy that? Yeah. .kaggle.json, and I'm going to pass API keys variable in here. Working there is not here anymore, so we can pass that as well. So working there, yeah, can be useful, I think. Directory, cool. Remember that I'm not going to do this right now, but you can always, and you should actually always document what these arguments are. And to do that, you have pretty useful information here. So you can document everything you do also at the argument time, so that you can help whoever is using your module to understand if it's everything is working as meant and where the problems are. All right, cool. Now we have everything, because we just need to follow up the instruction and say I cargo JSON here. The command to install, yeah, the client is pip install client, and yeah, we're going to put here another step that is with exec and yeah, with exec I don't recall. Okay, arguments, perfect. So we can say pip3 okay, install cargo. Now we can also already try out if everything is working, and I think I'm going to. So if we go here, we can shut down this one and also close this, and otherwise the tunnel I have on the machine create problem to us. Okay, then at this point I can do the following. I can take the command that we ran before, and working data now, I understand is not the best thing. We can put it in one file and execute, but yeah, bear with me for a second. So working there, then we have the key that we call API keys. So API keys, and we point to the cargo JSON that we have here. And then we take competition, but yeah, we are not using the competition will be Titanic. Okay, we need to implement this step, that step, but okay. So right, Titanic versus data service app. Cool. Let's get our finger crossed and let's go. So yeah, at this point we should have again our Jupyter lab, but with the Kaggle client already configured, ready to download our data. That would be cool. Let's see how it goes. Yeah, Kaggle competitions download. This is the command that we are going to execute to download the data. So, all right, we the moment of truth is here. Test me, please. Cool. We open a notebook. Well, we didn't need a notebook, but okay, that's fine. And we need now to, oops, to copy the the command before to see if everything is working. So let's take a look. Okay, right. And it's working. So before we haven't Kaggle, now Kaggle has been installed and we are ready to go. Pretty cool, pretty cool. And it's downloading the Titanic.zip. All right, then let's see if we have, for instance, the unzip package. Otherwise, we need to install it. Titanic.zip. Yeah, we have it, so we can proceed with these two commands. Let's get back to our terminal and see what happened. All right, cool. We can go ahead and say we are okay with all of this. So exec. Now we want to do the second step, that is download my competition. So that will be the command we ran before, but here we get competition. We separate all the rest. There are smarter ways to do that, I'm sure, but for interest of time, we're going to set this up. Okay, Kaggle competition is set. We go farther ahead and say, all right, we are brave enough to insert another step, that is unzip. Yeah, unzip. Do you remember I was called? It was the zip file had the same name of the competition? Probably yes, right? Yes, Titanic. So we can programmatically hope that this is enforced at client level. So we can say, okay, unzip competition .zip. Cool. So this is the and will be there. All right. In this way, we set up the import data step. Now, for instance, you might want to do some pre-process step. And the pre-process step, we said before, that requires two files. We can put a directory and then force the control for two files into the directory. Or in the simplest case, that is this one, we can set again a working dir. So tell me if you have additional directory with all your Python packages, for example, to be imported. And this is going to be a directory. Then let's tell me where I can find the requirements file, right? What should I install? And eventually also tell me which kind of main Python exec file. No, Python exec, I don't like it. Python main. All right. So with this, again, we start with the generic container. So we still editing the container that we put in the chain. So that will be built directly from at the command line level. It takes self lab container. That can be a plain Jupyter lab or something that was edited from an import data or again from a different pre-processed data. So for instance, here you have a self-lab container and you can go ahead and say with mounted directory again. Well, this we can copy from here. Oops. Okay. Mounted directory working there. I'm afraid yeah, maybe this will have some error. So probably, I think, yeah, I'm just wondering if we should name this process step. Yes. If we want to reuse different time this very same function to build our container, we must make sure that the mounted directory are different each time you use this. So we are going to use name as a string here. And the mount point will be work / name. All right. Cool. And then we are going to do with mounted file. And we are going to tell, okay, put this in OPT process name. So put everything in here in requirements.txt. And just to be clear, here we are introducing this file. We are introducing this second module. We take a requirements and a Python main. The only thing we are going to do is to make sure that this path can be reassembled and reconstituted many different times. And okay, let me just set up a setting here. Output we can implement to now. We can increase a bit. Right? Then we can go back to here and say cool requirement.txt and mount that in requirements file. And then we have again with mounted file, we are going to copy. Yeah, maybe we can duplicate this and say with process name, and here will be called main.py and requirements Python main. Again, you can make, we will try then to put this file mounting them into the mounted directory. I'm not sure it's going to work, but yeah, maybe it's a question for Discord chat. We can see further there what's happening. And all right, so let's see if this is going to work. Well, actually it should, because now Python underscore main, we can go ahead and say with exec. Well, let's proceed by steps. So let's do this, right? We save and we do. So we stop here. Again, let's close this. Oh, come on. Okay, and then we have now the possibility to run the very same command, but instead of passing parameters hello, here we put working dir that at this point will be our pre-process one folder that we are going to fill up right now. And then we have minus minus, how we call it, requirements file, requirements file in pre-process one requirements .txt and minus minus requirements, it's fine, main.py, that is the Python main, minus minus Python main in pre-process one slash requirements.txt. If everything went well, yeah, we need just one thing, that is creating this folder, make dir pre-process one and touch pre-process one main.py and requirements.txt. Cool. Now we are here to do the following. And the following is take this command, execute it, hoping for not missing a thing, and let's see. All right. Purpose data. Name. We forgot the fundamental parameter that is minus minus name and the name of this step. So we can call it step one. All right. So yeah, you see we are downloading the zip file, we're extracting, and now we are at the notebook level. And the notebook level, eventually, we can open it up again. Oops. And all right. So we have our file extracted in automatic. I did nothing to do this. And also we should have, let's take a look at work. Step one, you have all your file in step one. And also, yeah, probably, yeah, we can sort something up. But also you have our file that has been put into process step one. So these are the files that we are going to execute. The working directory can be anything. By now we put the very same content that we are going to put into the OPT directory, but it can be something that you have to include and to have for reference. So yeah, it's just in a utility directory that you can bring with you. And all right, so let's take a look. Now we can open the notebook that we used before, and starting from this, that is already pretty cool, we are going to tell our module, but whenever we do process data, we pass information. We should, okay, we should do the following: exec, and we pass the arguments here. I don't recall if cd work preprocess work, yes, step 1. So you can do here make dir, and no, make dir, sorry, pip pip3 install minus f requirements. This is okay, so it should work, right? Because if I put v requirements, cargo should already be, oops. Oh, come on. What the? Are you kidding me? So if we do like this, okay, and we save, then we can go in here and say pip3 install minus f requirements minus r, and you have, right, so minus r. Perfect. So we need this one to be copied, and we take it with us. We take it with us here in the pip3 install minus r requirements. Cool, cool, cool. And yeah, so perfect. Requirements.txt, straight to the point. Now, last step will be with exec. All right, it's not, well, this is the correct path. So, all right. So this is the correct path. I need to remove this, right? And then I can take the very similar path, but say Python 3 and the name of the file. So I'm going to execute the preprocessed data step in this way. Main.py. Cool. So now, oops. So now we have again something that should work out of the box. And yeah, so we have this, and that. Well, let me check once more. Summarizing, we have import data, we have preprocessed data that can be summed up as much as we want to. Cool. I think here we should send with work dir. We're going to execute this inside opt process name. Process name. So we are going to be inside that folder to execute these files. Or probably not. Not. I think we should go inside home Jovian work name. That is the directory above. We can put this in a variable in the function, but yeah, bear with me just a second. So we have a work there, and we are going to install this from the files that we put somewhere else. I'm not sure that is the best thing to do, but yeah. Let's take a look. Now, all right, we save this, and I think we are pretty good to go. Yeah, so now we try to do a step forward because we have pre-process one requirements, and I think we have nothing to do because all of this should just work, or maybe not. Right. So our data sets are in work input. So it's in Jovian work input Jovian home no, work input, and same here Jovian work input. Well, actually they are, yeah, if I remember correctly. So to be honest, they should be there. Yeah, and now everything should work, I think. Yeah, so we don't need to have anything inside requirements, but we need to copy all of this. All of this we need to all right. Anyone knows how to export this? Yeah, live, I forgot things, but I think it's usual stuff. Right, so we need just to import all our stuff into our main.py. So importing this, then read, we can forget about train. This is the function for our preprocessing. So we are going to get this, then actually I think we can do like this way better. Yeah, so like that, then we are going to train a test head. We can forget about that. We can start directly with data frame post Okay, and then random kitty. Yeah, we can go ahead and copy each single step until we get to the end with the results. So let's suppose that you have a way to copy this. 13, 14. I copied this twice. Yes. So let's define a feature. Okay. So you can do it multiple ways, but let's say that you have a default set of operation that you want to do to reprocess your data. You go ahead, take xtrain, good, describe, again, good, and okay, describe maybe is not needed. Add model. We train our decision tree, right? And score, test, you do your test, and predict. No, that's we need it. So we need test. And then we need predict, of course. And we can have the submission CSV for our test already there, right? So we are going to import both the notebook that produces this, but we are going to pre-execute all the content. And eventually we get a submission CSV already present in our Jupyter notebook. Right, everything should be set up by now. So let's close this, leave. Let's go back to our Dagger instance, and we can now tell, okay, let me put something more clear here. Okay, well, let's go ahead with this. So we import data, working there, APIs keys, so we download data, we import the preprocess main file, the requirements are empty, so that's fine. And we are going to execute basically, yep, there's a typo here. The main file that we have is reprocess main.py. Step 1, Jupyter Lab, perfect. All right, let's see how it goes. Now you should see that the first step, that is the download and unzip of the files, in principle should be cached, if I remember correctly. I don't know if, since we do not explicitly say, yeah, it's stored. You see, there weren't the steps for the requirements as before. So now it's executing our Python, and looks like it worked incredibly. So cool. Let's see how our notebook behave. So that's me, please, our good old. And here it is, guys. We did it without any trouble. We chained all our function into a single pipeline that produce this. So we achieved this way of going. So we have now module 1, 2, and module 3, if you want. That is the Jupyter Lab module. And you see that now this is our number 3. All right. This is our number 3. And we have all of them that can be composed as we want to. That's all you need, right? The cool, super cool stuff that now we can do, we can see in practice, is that all this module, maybe better documented and so on and so forth, can be published in the Daggerverse. So in the Daggerverse, you have all these modules with their functions that you can discover and reuse in this way. So directly from the shell or integrating them into your code. For instance, we have written everything in Python. It doesn't matter. You can import the very same function in Go. I know. It looks like magic, but trust me, this is the super cool thing that you have. You have now a pipeline that is importable, so you can pass a single command to rerun all your pipeline and spawn at the end a Jupyter Lab notebook, for example. Or you can run this as a standalone and just export the data that you want. So like a pre-processed pipeline, simple like that. Or you can also import these very same steps, or only one of them, into a Go code. That how cool is that? All right, so you can really have all the modularity and the portability that you always strive to get as a data scientist. I think is really promising, and yeah, to make it to under test, I think now we are ready to see how you can import and use a Docker module that we just produced. It will be pretty fast, so we are going to conclude soon, trying to stay into the 90 minutes. All right, so cool. Now we have to go ahead and see right. Yeah. I don't know what happened, sorry. Okay. Let's see how we can publish a module, for instance. And maybe I'll ask Creator to remove. It's a test, but don't worry. Okay. So let's get back to our notebook that is running. It's working just fine. There are a lot of things to be improved, but so far so good. Okay. Now, cool, everything is in place. We now need to stop the balls from rolling, and okay, we have everything in place. We also specified last time the name for this module. So Dagger.json or no. What's the name? Oh, holy shit. Okay, so working directory, we can remove that. Or the tiny.zip. Okay. So we can sure put a git ignore here to avoid publishing stuff that should not be there. Okay. So git ignore Dagger. Yes, so with Dagger working there at least, and preprocess one, so we are going to exclude preprocess one. We are going to exclude from what we published all the stuff. No. Yeah, this one. Let's see, get status. Get init. Get init. Okay. So get status. All right, let's see what happened. Dagger. Yeah, I think we are good like this. So now I'm going to create a repository where I'm going to store this module. So the changot here, the changot, and I'm going to create a repository. With so much zoom, it's difficult to go through that, but yeah. Okay, new. And we're going to name this Kaggle Dagger. Kaggle Dagger. Okay. So go create repository. And all right, git add -a. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I didn't configure. Brew install GitHub. So let me log in. Sorry about that. And yeah. So we are going to publish our module that does the step we saw before. So the all chain starts from downloading dataset from Kaggle and do any number of pre-process steps based on a requirement file and a Python script. And then on top of that, so this will be all built online by Dagger and staged and cached each stage, eventually to arrive at the point where Jupyter Lab module can be loaded, so you will be prompt with the Jupyter Lab. Notice that you can load the Jupyter Lab, or you can get a folder directly from the step that you want. So you can dump on your host the results of the work. Okay, now GitHub out login. No, out login, if I remember correctly. Yes. So yes. Login with a web token. Okay. So I can go here, past rapidly, and yes. Authorized. Okay. All right, good. So now you are good to go. And I think now I can directly push. Come on. Git checkout made. Oh, ref spec made does not exist. Anyone can help here? Come on, we were almost there with a clean path, with no error at all. Now just at the published level. It's not possible. Come on, come on. So, all right. Let me take a look at this. So we add, we commit, branch, remote. So let me add, commit. Okay. Come on. All right, good, good. So email this and got that cern.ch and username the changot. Come on. Ooh. No, 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 no. Dagger? Yeah, can be good. So, let me just, I almost make a disaster. So Dagger, we should ignore also the ignore the virtual length. That should be there, yeah. So vm, okay, and yeah. So now okay, we already pushed everything. Yeah. Yeah, please, another typo. All right. So, well, it doesn't hurt. It's a virtual amp we can remove later. Well, we can remove right now. Yet. Dagger. Slash vamp. Right. So commit remove vamp. Remove vamp. Actually, there should exist a module that does this for us, but I'm sure it exists already. All right, so let's take a look. No, I didn't push anything, so a commit is there. Let's push. All right, so of course, as a good scientist, there is no documentation, but we are working through that, I promise. And all right, now we have here our module. So we can document again, generally speaking, what is in here. But the function we produced are good to go. Okay. So since we are close to the end of the streaming, I think we have 10, 15 minutes. I want to try out something that I don't know if it will work. And this is essentially this. So can I run something that is not published? I think probably yes, but let me check. Yeah, let me check. So, all right. We go now on another directory here, so we have no environment either set up here, and we can export Dagger module and say, let's suppose that this is another machine. We are not using whatever we did so far, so there is no PyAmp set. It's really another machine, and I want to import this function and use it right away with a client in Dagger, not importing yet in a code base, so in a programmatically way. Diciamo Kaggle Dagger or Kagger Dagger, and all right, and now let's see first of all if the simple Jupyter Lab module is recognized. No Dagger JSON found in the yeah, probably is wait, maybe it's just this one the problem. Let's see. Cool, looks like it's working. You know what is happening? So it's happening that I can share this comment with you. So actually you can do that and start playing with the module that I just published. So you see how powerful is this? So you can do something like this as long as you import, I put in the chat, as long as you import this environment variable. And you're ready to do it, the exact same command I ran before and get the things running. So you are going to need a file where you, for instance, we go back to our directory in Dagger where we have working dir and preprocess one, and we can call again the previous command. And the previous command we are copying from this other session here is this one. And everything we working independently from what you put on this. So again, you load the module, the functions from remote, from the GitHub part, and you have to pass a working directory for the download of the data. Then you need to pass a working directory, a name for the preprocess step, a requirement file for the preprocess step, and a Python main to execute any number of preprocess function. And eventually you can load your Jupyter Lab. So if I run now this, everything should work like before. Let's see. All right, with the exception that we, by mistake, we moved the cargo.json file. Okay, so I suppose that I can type like this without moving, and it will eventually start. Okay. You see, here it is. It's working and it's going to work also for you if you respect these folders. So if you have a cargo.json file and a pre-process folder where you get requirements, that in this case is empty, so you're not installing anything, and a main Python script. Cool. So I'm going, I don't know if you are following me on LinkedIn or on Twitter. I'm going to publish and soon with the documentation this module in the Daggerverse, so you can give it a try with more context, with more documentation around the arguments and the function and so on and so forth. Because, for instance, one thing that maybe we do not see carefully, but we saw last time, is with minus H, actually, yeah, you can see all the, let's say, options. Here is the general option for the service, but if you go down for each step, for each function, there is an help function, an help flag that you can use to get an idea on how to use any document, any other single function of the module. So I'm going to fill up this with more care with respect to this live for matter of time, basically. And instead of copying from the chat like I pass you right now, you can go here and see, you will see that appearing, the module appearing in the Daggerverse. That is cool. I think at least this generic implementation can be very useful. Cool. Now we are almost at the end, so we are going to wrap up what we did, and there is time for questions or comments if you want in the chat, so drop anything you would like to see. One thing is that probably it's worth to, while you're thinking, if you have any question or comments, I think one thing that is nice to see is if we can import data, export, there is something like that. Oh no, probably there is, instead of call, let me check. I'm wondering if instead of launching a Jupyter Lab, I can ask Dagger to dump in my host the content of a directory. No. Let me see if the documentation we can find it quickly enough. Otherwise, I'll put it in the documentation as well. Okay. See, customer module overrides. Probably user manual. Yeah. Produce and inspect artifact. Just-in-time directories. Call build project. No. I think. Yeah. call build. Well, yeah, I don't know. We can call container std out, consume artifact export. Yeah, export minus minus path. Doesn't work. Call. Let's see. Step 1. Oops. Step 1. Export minus minus path. TMP. Dagger call build for maybe? Yeah. Yeah. I was missing this. So, right. No, I don't know. Okay. Let's stay simple and avoid too much of the headaches. Let's see. Yeah, open question again for Discord channel in Dagger. Join if you want, and let's see how we can sort this out. Okay, cool. So let's close with a summary. Now, in the module that I passed you to in chat, we have our our cargo Dagger module that is a module composed by 3 functions that you compose as you wish. So import cargo dataset. Then the second step is process. So install deps and run scripts. And these are composable because these are the output of this is a container. Oops, is a container. As the output of this one. And eventually, instead, there is the final step that is a Jupyter Lab. That is again a container, but with exposed ports, so can be executed as a service. Now notice that I told you that we can compose all this function in whatever language we want. You will have description now. You can use different function in different languages already in the Daggerverse whenever I'm going to publish this. But you can also use other modules for other services. For instance, you need an object storage as a service. Cool. Don't worry, there is a module ready for this, setting up a mini IO server for what you need. You can implement, I don't know if there is anything for MLflow, for instance. Well, we might create one. to create an ML flow tracking server to do all your training and stuff inside a single pipeline. So there is the possibility to create a whole ecosystem out there that is not there, but it can be ML or data science reproducibility ecosystem where you can share and compose already analysis done or module already created by someone else. And the bonus is that you can integrate also your analysis in CI. That is one of the reasons for which Dagger can be useful in that case. That's the idea. It's pretty simple, but it's powerful. I mean, we in just 2-3 hours we created a complete module from scratch, really with a lot of error typos and whatever, and we eventually arrived at the point where cargo module is almost there. We need to document, and we can reproduce and insert any kind of processing step here. So from this container, I can assure that should be a way to export the data that you have at a certain point. Export. I don't know if it's possible. Otherwise, I think it's a reasonable request to do to Dagger developer, but I'm almost sure it's there already. And yeah, so that's my play with. That's all for my play with Dagger and the machine learning pipelines. It was very basic, can be extended as much as you want, but yeah, I wanted to give you the really the basics, well, not the basics really, but the potential of such a solution that for me is quite interesting to dig up. And yeah, please let me know what you think, even in a comment by social DM or whatever. I'm really curious to see if there are other approaches. I'm sure there are other approaches that can make even more sense or same sense, different pros and cons. And yeah, let's subscribe if you didn't already to get notified for the next streams. There should be weekly on Monday. This is a special one, but for instance, the next Monday I will be out for job reasons, so I'm not sure I'm going to be able to stream. But yeah, I'll let you know. Yeah, thank you. Subscribe, follow on the social, and have a nice evening or morning or afternoon, depending on where you are. Bye.